Hi, this is Estere with Starry Blessings Astrology and your Celestial Gossip for this week, December 10th through December 16th. And it's been such an intense time for me, I know, and for quite a few people I've chatted with. It's been quite a roller coaster of emotions and stuff coming up, and it's definitely a very challenging time for many. And the work is to ride the wave of discomfort that we feel when deep core wounds and repressed feelings and unresolved stuff in the emotional realm gets triggered, when that's up for um, revisiting, excavating, which we would expect with Venus moving through the deeply emotional water sign of Scorpio, Mercury still covering those final degrees of Scorpio, catching up to re-entering Sagittarius, which it will do on the 13th. But right now and all of last week, it was also in the sign, Mercury was in the sign of Scorpio. So the mind, the Mercury, is really engaged in the emotions, and it intensifies the experience. Mars and Neptune very close to each other in Pisces feels like your skin is raw, but it's the emotional skin. And I know for myself, I have just felt attacked, not intentionally by those people at all, but just things that they said felt so hurtful to me because they triggered things from the past. It really had nothing to do with them and had nothing to do with what they were saying, but it was their conversation, Mercury and Scorpio, their conversation was triggering very deep emotional responses. For me, it brought up a lot of sadness and challenges emotionally. And with the moon in Capricorn yesterday and today, and Saturn in Capricorn, there's that judgment that comes in. So the problem really happens not in the feeling of the feelings, but the judging of the feelings and the judging of feeling the feelings. So it's really a time to watch one of those movies about the rogue wave surfers, because that's what life feels like right now. It's like giant waves of emotion, and you've got to learn to ride that inner tunnel, or if you're on the outside, just enjoy the ride. I think the problem comes in when we try to judge the ride and try to judge things, decisions we've made in the past, or experiences that we've made in the past, and choices we've made. And really, if we can understand that everything is part of our experience, that part of being in a human body is having a very wide range of emotional experiences, and not everybody does. Some have a smaller range of emotional experiences, but if you're one of those people that's super sensitive like I am, you're going to be on a wild ride, and that's just what it is. So rather than judge it, to just be with it and to say, oh, I'm feeling really challenged right now. I hate what that person just said to me. That hurt my feelings so much. Or I feel so sad. Or, oh, here's the same issues up. Every year these issues are up. Why can't I break through? All the ways that we judge ourselves for where we are on our path. And it doesn't help. The judgment doesn't help. But with the Capricornian energy right now, you're probably going to be judging yourself. And also messages like from the parent, either the father or the person who played more the paternal role, the taskmaster, the rule maker in your early childhood. That's very Saturnian. So that voice is going to be playing in your head. And even if those people are no longer alive, their messages come through. So it's your job to filter through and say, this is a helpful message. This message over here is not so helpful. I'm going to get rid of it because it's not true anymore for wherever you are in your life. You're not a child anymore, but the part of you that feels those childhood feelings, those feelings need to be acknowledged, and that part of you needs to be soothed, cared for, loved. Those are all expressions of I feel unloved in that area. You can think of love as like oxygen for the emotional realm. So like when you have a cramp in your leg, for instance, you got to get oxygen in there. You rub it, you put heat on it, you try to get a lot of circulation going on there because you're trying to bring oxygen to the area. That brings light, that brings expansion. So it's the same in the emotional realm. You want to bring soothing, you want to bring light, you want to bring oxygen, you want to bring awareness to the feelings, because that's how that stuck energy gets loosened up and then released, just like in a cramp. Like in a cramp in a leg, you want to loosen up that tightness, because what's happening is this constriction, contraction, and that's what happens in our emotional realm. And that contraction is so painful. And so we want to bring light in there. We want to bring love in there. And you may not be able to get the love from the person that you want or from the situation that you want, but it's really up to each of us to go in search of love, to love ourselves, to do what we know soothes us, makes us feel better, maybe just be with an animal or call an old friend or read a book or see a movie that, makes you feel more loving, that you just have more love coming down. So for you, because ultimately you are love always, and you'll always return back to love. So it looks like it's another, surfing week on the planet. I think the rest of the month looks a little challenging in the emotional realm, but remember, with Mercury re-entering Sagittarius on December 13th, there is going to be some light, and he has a little less energy in Scorpio, and it's just going to help lift up the mood a little bit. So I'm wishing you a beautiful week. I'd love to chat with you more. Leave me a message, schedule a reading. You can do that on my website, starryblessingsastrology.com. Love to connect. Have a beautiful week. This is Estere with Starry Blessings Astrology.